Dan, what do you make of Deebo's debut?
I saw impact. I saw the way that he was used in San Francisco to help others. Sometimes it was motion, and then you saw Jayden Daniels on the outside of some of those zone runs. Sometimes it's that spinner stuff where he gets back around behind the quarterback, and then they can run some of their spinner run game. We saw the reverse. Laura, you mentioned he had 77 yards, but 44 of those came after he touched the football. It was vintage Deebo, and Washington gets that version. That's a massive upgrade for their offense.
Yak. Okay. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Russell Wilson. We're going to talk about Washington Commanders, Jayden Daniels, Deebo Samuel. First off, kind of crazy, man, that people barely talked about this game. Wasn't on the herd, wasn't on first things first. Like, man, it's like I thought the Commanders built up some good momentum in Jayden Daniels and all of this. You would think that the quarterback and the team that got to the NFC Championship last year, who had the greatest rookie season of all time, you would think that there would be a little bit more hype week one. I know it was just the Giants, and the Giants are clearly not a good team, but like still, there's still something to talk about there. I mean, like I don't know. I was surprised by that. It's frustrating. But you know, what are you gonna do? I mean, I talked a lot about this game in the post game. I really loved how Deebo was used because I don't think any of it was forced, and I don't think any of it was kind of like, oh, we have our gadget guy, like let's do all this crazy stuff, right? And like they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They didn't turn it into a Disney Channel original movie here, right? Like it's just they still played football. They were still serious and focused, and nothing was forced, and they were hardly at their best. Jayden Daniels was clearly not at his best. There was that one drive where he had back-to-back missed throws on Deebo and Terry McLaurin, and you're not expecting that out of Jayden, like not at all. But I mean, this offense as a whole, 19 for 30 for Jayden Daniels, 7.8 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 98.3 passer rating, 11 carries for 68 rushing. I would, just from a longevity standpoint, it's like I want to see him run the ball less, especially when you're playing a team that's not good like the New York Giants, right? If you got to have 11 carries because you're playing the Eagles, the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, like I get it, but it's like against a team like the Giants, it's like, man, I want you nearly untouched. And if you do run 11 times, it's like I want you out of bounds and sliding all the live long day. And he took some shots. He absolutely took some shots, more so than I would have personally liked week one. That's just me. You know, Jayden Daniels is just too important to this team. But the team as a whole had 220 rushing yards, 6.9 yards per carry, which is just bonkers. I mean, to clearly have such a high production rushing attack for 220 yards, but still have a pretty potent passing attack for 233. And again, if it wasn't for a couple just off throws, I mean, that number could skyrocket to nearly 300. And just, which would then have a higher passer rating, higher completion percentage. Like it was just because of some rust. I mean, you're looking at potentially, well over 500 yard, total yard game. Now, again, the Giants, they did not impress me at all. They look like an absolute mess. And so there really is only so many conclusions to draw from this game in terms of the quality, I guess, of the Commanders, in terms of where they stand relative to everyone else. And everyone else is kind of going through that. I mean, the hardest game to gauge is the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens, because they both have just such monster offenses with monster quarterbacks. You're just kind of like, I mean, that game was wild and both quarterbacks were balling out. Like, do they both have bad defenses, or did we just see historically great performances by both quarterbacks, right? The Giants were a mess. Russell Wilson, they could not sustain drives. They could not move the ball. I mean, it was just when there was moments when you're like, all right, this could maybe get a little interesting. I was like, oh, nope, never mind, because the New York Giants literally cannot execute anything. So obviously their big matchup is against the Packers and whatnot. But I think in order of just getting like a nice, easy home game, a nice, easy week one game, divisional game, like you didn't fall prey to any of the things that kind of happened. We're like, oh, it's just the Giants, and no, it's week one. Like, right, there was no like weird situation where it was like, man, how did we let that game slip between our fingers? We're like, man, how did we how did we just do that, right? Like, and that's always on the table. It's always on the table. But it wasn't for the Commanders, which is great. And obviously Terry McLaurin and Jayden are going to get reconnected. Wasn't, a little out of the fold in that game, but you don't expect that to go for too long. And so it's just to be able to pretty easily beat a team without really needing much necessarily, to me, is what's the most impressive, even if you're playing a bad team, honestly. Yeah, I mean, at half, for instance, I mean, in the first half, Jayden Daniels had 219 total yards of offense, and the Giants had 79 total offense for their whole team. Like, Jayden Daniels, is doing nearly triple that himself, right? So it's just like, that's crazy. No matter who you're playing, but that is also exceptionally bad by the Giants. So a game like this, maybe that's why so many people weren't talking about this game, because I still think it's worth to discuss. But I think for the Commanders' sake, this will be one of those games that they feel good. They get their legs underneath them. They feel the physical contact, right? They're woken up. They're like, oh yeah, that's what it's like to get hit full contact. And then you just throw this game away, and then you're just like, oh, we're on to the next one. We don't really know who the heck the Giants were. We didn't even play our best brand of football right now. We're already on to our next game, and then it's just like, let's go. And so to me, a game like this is honestly more of an extension of a practice game at this point. So I think we're not even close to seeing what the Commanders can do, both offensively and defensively, because again, I know the defense played good, but it's just like, the Commanders graduated to me. I only draw so many conclusions from a great team and a great quarterback and a great coaching staff against bad teams, or teams that I just don't think are that good. There's just only so many lessons to learn there. I care about the higher quality games against the higher quality competition. Like, that's when I really zoom in and say, what am I seeing right now? What conclusions can I genuinely draw? And so yeah, it's pretty straightforward to me, but I just thought that this game and this game plan felt very unforced, very natural, very at ease, very smooth. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just like, throw this game away and on to the next one. But still encouraging, still momentum building, and got a game in a few days, and that game now will be significantly harder, right? Like, that's kind of the point that I'm trying to drive home more than anything. You got a game in a couple days against the Packers, which will be night and day better than this team. Night and day better than this team. So that's why I'm very much just like, treat this game kind of like a practice. You learned some stuff. You succeeded. You were a little rusty at times. All good. Build momentum, build chemistry, build all that. But like, this is not even remotely what the NFL will look like for this Commanders team, and what they need to do, and the quality of teams they will need to beat. So this is like, hey, let's just build some good vibes and build that momentum. So in a lot of ways, it's kind of a great first game to lead into the Packers. So we will see that game. I'm pumped for that game for sure. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders winning quite easily over the New York Giants? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.